Hello everyone, it's Justin Dawson from the All Things Techie Podcast. This following episode of our podcast was recorded during Infocomm 2024 that recently took place in Las Vegas. Our Infocomm 2024 coverage is sponsored by X2O Media, Logitech, Nareva and Wirestorm. While you may be listening to this audio podcast, I always recommend watching the video version from our YouTube channel or from our official website. I want to thank you for all your support as we come closer to our 100th episode of All Things Techie, and don't forget to like, comment, subscribe and share with your friends. Enjoy the show from Infocomm 2024 live in Las Vegas.
Here's the show that loves to talk about gadgets and gizmos, from A-Logic to Yamaha, cameras to control panels. You get what I mean. We love talking all things techie. In fact, that's the name of the show. And here is your host.
Okay, so here we are. It's the last day of Infocomm. It's Friday. We've been here a week in Vegas. It doesn't feel like a week. It's gone so quickly. But I am excited that it is Friday and it is the last day. I can see why they keep this to 3 days, because there's enough to take in on 3 days, plus the 2 days that are usually for education, and of course there's loads of education that goes on all the time. I'm here in the West Hall again for the last day. This morning we had esports breakfast at the Members Lounge with the Vixa. That's right over at Central.
My name is Joseph. I'm so pleased to be here with you. Thank you for coming this early. First and foremost, give yourself a pat on the back. You have survived Las Vegas in 4 days. So that's a feat in itself. And congratulations to all of you athletes. Let's give you guys a round of applause just for making it. We know that you have another final match coming up, so we won't keep you too long. You've got hopefully lots of energy in your breakfast burrito to help you win the last game. And forgive my voice, I'm not going to try to take Austin's job. I'm not probably the best shot caller in front of you, but I had like all of you shouting all day, leading lots of great people. For any of the student athletes, raise your hand if you haven't received any of our cool little earplugs that we've given out. Okay. We thought that'd be a cool gift and sort of connection to our industry. They're professional grade earplugs that you should wear on planes while you're sleeping. We're at every live show you go to. Ask any of the AV professionals here, they can tell you why it's important to do that if you have questions. But we thought today what we do is bring you together with some of the folks who helped make the esports tournament happen. Whether that was helping you build the furniture or showing you how the screens are involved in the play. We thought it would be a great way to hear from them, because you might not necessarily have all the context of all the great work that they do in the world and all the different types of job opportunities that really are before you that are connected to the work you're doing in the play that you're having in esports.
I'm the Director of Engineering for ABI Systems. And I think really a compliment to, again, Avixa and everything they're doing in hosting this and bringing us together, that I hope you guys realize what that really means to us. It means team. And I think that's a key word for each of you inside this room. Because it takes a team of us, it takes all the other providers that are coming in and joining us inside of this to build on another key word you're using, which is experience. There's so many different things that are part of this that you feel emotions inside of it, things that drive you, motivate you as it's going. I'm sure as you're playing your games and stuff like that, there's sounds, there's lights, there's things like that that start happening inside of it, and it really just kind of washes over you. And that's part of what we do as an industry, to go through and bring people in, get them to understand that it can be something that's transparent. You can't really put your hand on and touch it, but you know you like it. And that's the big thing that we want to go through and bring to you, is understanding the careers that surround this same sort of industry that we have inside here. And so it's open to, again, lots of different interpretation, lots of different opportunities inside here. Some of you may be business majors. Trust me, we need the people who understand how to move around and deal with the money, and how do things get financed, and how do we go through and get our hands on the gear and make sure it's always put in and stuff like that. Other people love to work with their hands. They love to go through and start building things out, flying things up into the sky, attaching them, making them safe for people to go through and work with, and obviously go through and be put together, because some things aren't wireless, right? We still have to go through and pull some cables and do some things like that. There's all kinds of other places inside of here where we're going to go through and teach you. You went through and got a new piece of gear, but you don't understand how to operate it. You're going to need some help with that. Again, these professionals are able to go through and drop into this. So when you stop and you kind of think about all the different fields that you're potentially in today, there's lots and lots of opportunity inside of this.
And Planner's had a really clear strategy for at least a decade now of how we bring people into our company and promote them from within. And that first entry in is as an installer, so it might not be for everybody. It's not a job where you're sitting at a keyboard, it's more of a job where you're climbing a ladder and installing these video walls. And we bring people into those jobs. A lot of times it's young people, people without a lot of experience in the industry, and we train them how to install these big video walls. And it's a job that requires a ton of travel, so a lot of times a younger person is interested in traveling, enjoys traveling around the country. And some people stay in that as for their whole career, and they learn and they get better, and we send them to our more and more complicated jobs. We build the TV studios for NBC to do the Olympics, and some of these installers who are experienced and been with us for years have great experiences to go build TV studios with LED backgrounds for NBC for the Olympics. But then we also promote these folks internally, and there's several different paths they can take inside of Planar. Some become what we call an applications engineer, and this is more of a pre-sale engineer, where you meet with a customer and then, along with an integrator and design a system. How big does that video wall need to be on that wall over there? How much power does the electrician need to put over there to put a big video wall on that wall? What sources are you going to put on that wall? Those kind of things. So those people with the experience from installing the products become applications engineers.
And then you have seen that I was talking with Wirestorm as well, sponsors to the All Things Techie podcast, while we're out here at Infocomm, and some of the gadgets and the tools that they are using across the board. But really interesting to hear how the matrix works for education. So we're going to take a tour around the West Hall and show you what's around here. The West Hall, as mentioned, is the main convention centre. It's huge. It's like 3 floors above me. And we'll go in and we'll take a look around. Of course, as I pointed out before, you have the main photo opportunity, which is the big IC24 sign. One thing's for certain, over at Infocomm, they really go full out on their signage for the event. So as you can see, at the far end of the West Hall, you have all your LED walls, and there's just such a range of LED walls, you know, as they get more and more thin. Like, look at this. Look at the thinness of this, it's see-through. But, you know, then you have your Muxwave, and that was at ISE, that covered the whole front of ISE for the 20th year of ISE. But down this end of the hall, it's getting more and more. How many pixels can we put into these LED walls? How thin can we make them? Like, once more, through there, in the distance, like you can see right through it on one side. On the other side, it's LEDs. You come to the middle of this hall, and again you have the Avixa Exchange Live, and of course Ben Barnard and his team doing his live Avixa TV each day. I don't know, has Ben got the voice left after the whole week? I'm losing my voice. I have one question. Have you lost your voice like me?
No, not as bad as you, it sounds.
How did you manage to do this all week without losing your voice?
I mean, you know, early to bed, early to rise. You know, clearly not for you.
No. I'm with Joe Way all week. Good to see you. Are you going on?
You too.
You're doing your last show?
Yeah, well, literally just finished the last show for Avixa TV. Now we're recording the podcast intro for the Backstage Pass podcast. It's going to be out in a couple of days. But yeah, almost there.
Podcaster, TV, you know what? Yeah,
good looking.
Good looking. Yeah.
Singer, songwriter.
Singer, yeah.
Politician. No.
Well, yeah, not yet. You're getting there. So, Avixa TV and the Exchange Live, they're just finishing off. Hey, we have a Red Bull Ferrari here in the centre. Some similar booth to ISE, but like, of course, they have to bring it over to America So you have your Phillips with your F1 car, and of course, check that out for a screen and bar at the bottom. Abson is here with Abson Live and the control room. Similar booth to ISE, if you remember, but they don't have their virtual gaming that they did at ISE. They do have their big live studio production at the back here. Then we come up to, on one side, the left hand side here is Sony. To the right hand side is Blackmagic Design. Let's have a look at Sony first. Yes, as always, when it comes to broadcast, Blackmagic is the leader of leaders of cameras, studios, outdoor rigs, setups, you name it. Let's have a look at that booth. It just has everything. Over IP, studio, XR, cameras, zooms for you to play with. Like there's two actors here sitting beside a motorcycle. As you can see, the different positionings that can go on as well, and the quality and the picture and the sharpness that goes on with the Blackmagic. The zoom, the focus, the pan, the tilt, the quality of these cameras is unreal. So you might remember in previous podcast episodes when I was over at ISE, you had Epson, you had LG, you had Samsung, all in one merging crossroads. This time we have LG over here, Samsung way back there, and Epson over in the corner here. So it's not as congested as it was at ISE. We will go inside LG and have a look. And the same moving screens and tiles that they had at ISE, but it's still really cool to watch. And thankfully, along the path on Friday, not as busy as what ISE would be. And like that with projection mapping and standing up on stage there, you can pretend that you're absolutely anywhere. Epson did not bring their umbrella that they did to ISE, so it's a bit of a smaller booth. When I say small, it's still big, but because they didn't bring their Epson umbrella and they weren't right beside LG and Samsung, there's no crush here at Infocomm. So I have to say, if I was to pick which one was the best party and hospitality and just booking out the best venue even, was Peerless. So we're going to come up to the Peerless booth now. Peerless has all their mounts in every shape, size and form. Just to give you an example, right? Here is a full 360 wraparound. It's see-through, but like, gives you an idea of just how much Peerless does when it comes to mounts. So as I end my tour around the West Hall with Panasonic Connect behind me, and you've seen the mist and you've seen the church production that was going on, I think it's a nice way to end the last day here at Infocomm in the West Hall. We still have to take down the booth because I have to help Joe and all the team of Hetma take down the booth at 4 p.m. That could go on till all hours. We have a special team dinner later on, and I'll try not to lose my voice out of it. And then tomorrow, we road trip out to see the Grand Canyon, which is going to be phenomenal. I'm also going to be with James King tomorrow. James works over in the University of Nevada, and he's going to be showing me his medical school at 8 a.m. tomorrow, so I'll do a bit of recording over there as well. Don't forget, this could not be made possible without my amazing sponsors to this podcast, and for you, the listeners and the viewers, for viewing this podcast. Really appreciate all your support. Check out this podcast and nearly 100 other podcasts by visiting www.allthingstech.ie. From me, Justin Dawson, losing my voice at Infocomm. Talk to you soon.
Thank you for tuning in to All Things Techie Podcast, part of the Extreme Media Network. Follow us on Twitter at AVTechJunkies. Subscribe to us wherever you get your podcasts. You can also watch our show on YouTube by visiting youtube.com/@Justin_or_Dawson. Previous episodes of our show can be found on our official site, www.allthingstech.ie. For advertising and sponsorship opportunities, please visit www.extrememedia.ie.